This podcast was produced on the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation.
Welcome to Australia.
Aussie.
This is kind of tragic.
Someone who is such a connoisseur of reality television.
The content is hideous.
So sorry about this. Oh my God.
This is The Cringe is Real, a reality TV recap podcast that probes the notion of the Australian culture cringe. I'm Sam Cremian and I'm in the best shape of my life. Who begs to differ? Here I am once more to discuss this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Sydney, streaming each Tuesday on Binge. My guest this week is musician and creator Aspin James. This cheeky boy is a talented singer-songwriter whose voice you may also recognise as being the mastermind behind the wicked and hilarious web series The Real Housewives of Melbourne, which if you haven't seen yet, you need to check out immediately. Aspin James, welcome to The Cringe is Real.
Hey, how you doing?
What's got you cringing this week?
I don't pay attention to what everyone else or the world is really doing, so I guess I cringe myself out. If I had to, I figured when I was coming on the podcast, your audience would be relieved to have someone interesting.
Have you been watching the Squid Game challenge?
Actually, yes.
Fuck yes. I'm so glad you have. I am obsessed with whoever did the casting because not only have they found some of the thirstiest men on the internet with the largest quads I've ever seen, but number 16. Can we just talk about him for a second? Sam, with the beard.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck me up.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
Anytime,
he
anywhere.
can do whatever the fuck he wants to me.
How are you supposed to, do they have, toilets at the Squid Games? Are you able to, dick out for a minute?
There was one shower scene for, 2 seconds.
Okay, so
on,
they've got
episode 3. And I was like, hang on. You're telling me there was cameras in the showers this whole time? Release the tapes.
That's some lost footage we need to get our hands on.
Because they've brought back Big Brother Uncut as well. Have you seen this?
No, I didn't.
But it's the Sonia Kruger version, so it sucks. And it's literally just straight people being like, oh my God, boys fart. And girls, don't.
Whatever happened to literally watching people fucking suck each
It
other?
was literal Jamie Brooksby swinging around a big dick.
In the shower.
In the shower. Now it's you do see one frame of a dick.
Yeah, okay.
But it's very Channel 7 style.
I haven't got off to one frame of a dick since I was 13, so I don't know.
It's a thrill.
Okay.
That's your homework for this week. So I need to ask you about The Real Housewives.
Yes.
Where the fuck did this crazy idea come from?
God, it was the summer of 2015, and I remember watching season 1 of Real Housewives of Melbourne, and I was looking at Andrea's face, and I was like, she's not saying...
Mandria.
She's not saying what she's thinking. And I was like, imagine if it was actually what she was thinking was being said. So I just dubbed over a minute for a friend because it was funny. And then I think I put that on Facebook back when Facebook was the place to go for videos.
I remember watching it on Facebook.
And then I just was like, why don't I just do this from here on in? It just took off. I was very, very bored, by the way, so
And I was shocked to learn earlier that some of the cast are obsessed with it.
Yeah,
and they've reached out to you. Amazing.
Yes, Andrea tried to come at me for defamation and using her footage of her kids in it, so I had to stop doing that.
Yeah, okay,
Andrea was really unhappy. But a few of the ladies thought it was...
That wasn't your fault. She was unhappy anyway.
I think it was residual. She couldn't get, she couldn't go after anyone about not being on the show anymore. So she kind of, but fuck her. And now I get...
Andrea, if you're listening, friend of the pod, Andrea.
Now I get sponsored Instagram ads of Liberty Bell with Andrea's face being like...
It's still around.
I'm 50 years old and I look fabulous. Want to know why? And I'm like, oh! But the girls who like it are the ones you would imagine like
yes.
it. Yes,
the party girls.
Yeah,
your Janets,
my
and
Janets,
your Gambles.
my Gambles, my Ginas. I think Jackie actually got one over in the end as well.
Good.
When she realised it wasn't a threat.
The second Aspin James EP.
Yes.
Which came out last year.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
It's fantastic.
That's
I love
just
it.
full of offcuts and shit I've made years ago.
Oh.
So it was kind of more for my friends and my family who didn't have access to hearing those songs.
Oh, that's nice.
That I made when I was in my early to mid 20s. So I just compiled stuff and put them out on 2 EPs.
Yeah.
But I am working on a much more mature
I feel like it's already pretty mature.
Yeah, but that's just
anyway.
how good I am. I've got to raise the bar.
It's true. Well, so are you working on something new at the moment?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's
I
that?
am.
What's that?
I'm just, as you know, I produce and mix and do all of the instrument, like everything. So it takes a long time, but it's more kind of dark, electric guitars and beats, and like more kind of introspective lyricism stuff that's just a bit more grown up. I think that reflects who I am now.
Yeah,
but I'm not really looking to make a name from it. It's just fun.
I always like to describe your music as like a cool young queer Missy Higgins.
Literally what I was going to be marketed as if it had all gone to plan.
So what are your high-level thoughts on The Real Housewives of Sydney Season 2?
My thoughts are, in no particular order, boring, maybe boring, maybe almost boring.
Yeah.
And then...
what were the maybes? When were you almost on board?
When they, kind of dropped their facade and started to lose themselves in the moment, and then they kind of pull back and realize they're on camera, and then it's too glossy, it's too Americanized. I feel like, didn't they have an American producer dip out halfway through or something?
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so they had someone from America I read come in and produce the first few eps, and she ended up quitting halfway through.
And they were like, thank fuck Janine's gone. Now we can edit in all the times they swear. I'm disappointed in the lack of swearing, because my favourite thing about all Australian reality TV shows is just the casual...
the cavalier
just
F-bombs.
All of it. And there's just been very little. Like, Chrissy, thank fuck, is there to bring up dick every 5 minutes, which without her, it would just be...
Without Chrissy,
I would be swish promo material.
Without Chrissy, I would forget that I am horny. As soon as she mentions it, I'm like, oh yeah, I can go for that. Yeah, all right.
Oh, John, what did she say? Johnny. Oh, when we first met.
Take me, Johnny.
Johnny. Jumping back to Housewives, where the fuck did you get the idea to make Chica a bird from?
Because her hairdo. But then I was like, Chica doesn't say anything of interest in those first seasons.
Yeah,
so I was like, what if she just makes bird noises?
What was her tagline when you were like, fuck, it was so good?
I may be a cockatoo, but I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. If you're not a racist or a homophobe, you can slit your fucking wrists open.
I'm the one who deals out the cake around here. Mess with my turf and I'll fuck you up.
Should I just leave? You can take it from here. I'm like, would you do the Sydney Girls?
I actually attempted to make Sydney 2 years ago. I actually had, I do have an episode of Sydney that I've made. But I had to rip it off a DVD.
Okay.
And I had coding issues with the video, and so I was like, fuck it. But I've since downloaded legally the high def videos. So hopefully I'll start again. But I mean, yeah, I rewatched Sydney recently and I was like, yeah, I can do this for sure. You got to kind of, you've got all these women, you've got to create personalities for them, and you want to base it off of what's actually happening. So I have to watch it a lot to kind of, but I'd be keen to. I want to do Auckland as well.
Yes, Auckland was notoriously fucked.
Mm-hmm. And I'd love to do season 5 of Melbourne.
Yes, please.
There is nothing better than someone with an unmedicated personality disorder.
Yes, that doesn't own their apartment.
Yep, love it. Love it.
What was it called? The credenza.
Oh, the credenza.
The credenza
Do you
drama
think changing it from cupboard to credenza lessens the crime?
How is that not?
Can we?
That was iconic.
I just have to say, the best Melbourne Housewives scene out of all the seasons ever is when Simone takes Janet outside at Gamble's album launch and that beautiful sunset in the background, and she's like, "I just want to talk to you for a minute because I'm really scared." She's like, Kyla said that you went into... No, sorry, I'll rephrase it. You broke into Angelique's apartment, and then Janet further on is so gobsmacked, and she takes a double take, she doesn't know what to say, and she's like, you know what? She is a dirty fucking rat. I'm like, yes. It was just the best scene I've ever seen.
All right, let's get into this week's ep.
Sure.
So this week we have crab brains on a hangover.
Tastes like nothing.
A G5 tower.
That's right, the G5 Tower.
The commencement of Late Gate binge. You can have that one for free.
I was waiting there for 45 minutes, and then it was half an hour, then it was 20.
And, of course, we get a glimpse of Chrissy's sashimi.
Oh, God.
Okay,
Juicy.
I also need to give a shout out to the gay intern that named this episode Terry-aki Beef. No notes. Stunning. Give that
Done.
queen a raise.
Absolutely.
Season 5 of Melbourne, they didn't have episode titles, did they?
Actually,
It was
you're
just like
right.
episode 1.
They actually didn't.
That shit pisses me off.
For production, they have to have named the episodes, but it's just like they couldn't even be bothered loading them into the player. Like, they just were like, fuck it, episode 1.
Yeah,
because they knew it was the end, so they were like, whatever.
And that and no reunion, I was like...
No, that reunion would have made it the best season of Melbourne, in my opinion.
Anyway, what never happened. All right, so we get the previously on. We're in Tokyo.
We are.
We get the sexy dancers. We get, Terry and Chrissy having a spat at the strip club.
Yes.
Terry going, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. And then Chrissy storming off, ultimately.
I can't do this.
Then the intro plays. Taglines. Have you got a fave?
My favourite tagline is none of them, because they're all horrific. Actually, if I have to pick a favourite, it's going to be Chrissy.
Okay.
Because when she's reading it, you can see her in the studio booth just being like, you have no reason to be fake.
Yes.
It's just
You
like,
have no
she's been
reason.
hanging out with Terry way too long.
Yes.
Even though they're just acquaintances.
Oh, yes, we'll get there. All right, we open with morning at the hotel. I feel like the Tokyo trip, they shot 90% of it at the fucking hotel.
They did. Maybe it's because, as my partner pointed out as we were watching it this morning, like, do you know how much it would cost to put those women in that hotel?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe that's why they
True.
filmed so much there.
I think it's that, and also Terry on the official podcast this week said it was the middle of summer. It was like fucking hot and humid outside.
Well,
and
you
none of
fucking organised the trip.
Exactly. None of them wanted to be outside. Apparently they were like melting. So Terry and Kate are catching up in the morning. Terry says, look, I had such a great time with you, Kate. And then Kate goes, yeah, look, I was worried about you, though. I was going to come over, like when you were having your spat with Chris.
Then why the fuck didn't you? It would have been interesting.
She goes, I knew if I came over, then like everyone would come over. And then it would be like this huge sword fight.
And that's what we'd like to see.
Note to producers. Encourage this sort of behaviour. Terry's going on about Chrissy. She's saying, Chrissy just won't let it go. She wouldn't let up. She kept going, you've hurt me, you've blamed me. And then Kate goes, did she mention me? And Terry goes, it's so schoolyard.
So schoolyard.
She feels like I've picked you over her.
First I was Switzerland.
Yes.
And now?
Now I'm being blamed for everything. What's going on here between Chrissy and Terry? I'm honestly a bit confused.
Okay, so my thoughts on this. Terry is the kind of person who will punch you in the face and then tell you, like, I never did that. Or it's no big deal.
Yeah,
like, the
right.
consequences for her actions, she turns them on others
Yeah.
and diminishes their reaction to her behaviour and goes, oh, well, this isn't a big deal, even though she was gearing it up to be. It's almost like she
Yeah.
drops the bomb, you know what I mean? And then she runs. Like Gina.
Totally. And I think that's what Switzerland is actually code for. It's like,
Yes.
because she keeps saying this episode, like, I'm cool when, like, I don't want to weigh in on, like, other people's drama. But what I think that means is, like, you just don't want to get caught weighing in on other people's
Literally.
drama. And she has. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
Caroline and Sally are like, oh my God, coffee. So they're all fucking hideously hungover as well, which I love. They're all drinking coffee in the hotel and they're talking about going to the fish market.
So coffee and fish, what a combination.
But then Sally goes, oh, did you ever go to the fish markets when you lived here? And Caroline goes, oh yeah, all the time. It's like a market. And at this point, I'm convinced that Caroline is completely making up that she ever lived in Japan. Because
I know
there are a few moments throughout this episode where I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I know it was a long time ago.
Well, how many drugs has she ingested since that time?
True,
you know what I
true.
mean? So it's like, but she
like,
probably...
yeah, it's a market. It's a whole vibe. It's a market vibe.
She's probably confusing it with a wet market, which is probably a club.
Yes. Then cuts to Chrissy and Nicole standing out the front, and Nicole is already
My favourite.
spiraling.
This was the
spiraling.
greatest moment in this season.
Yeah.
She was pissed about having to wait, and yet we get no throwback to being told to be there at 9 a.m.
It sounds like, because Terry this week on the podcast is like, there was no 9:30 a.m. call. Like they're making it up, and I'm like, Nicole's not the sort of person that's making up that there was a 9:30 call. Do you know what I mean? So have production fucking caused this issue?
Well, as Nicole stated, she could have been having breakfast, sleeping in, going to the gym,
Having a
calling her
wank.
family. Like, there was so much she could have been doing.
I could have Zoomed my children.
Oh my
Could have
gosh.
taken a shit.
I think that perhaps they met each other somewhere, wasted as fuck at 1 a.m. and
Yeah.
were like, let's meet at 9:30 in the morning. And then they'd
Yeah,
forgotten.
that's true. They could have been like 9:30. Sounds good. Me.
But I don't give a fuck if no one was there, because this is what I need. I need to
Same.
see Nicole get riled up.
The things that they get riled up about are so fucking random.
Love it.
All right, then we're at the fish market.
We are.
Nicole is trying to be Nigella. She's like, oh, this is exactly what I love. The smells, the sounds, the people, the common folk on the street, the stalls. It's just, you just take it all in. Like, I would give her a show.
It's like walking through economy, but this time we had to stop.
This time the kids aren't here. I would watch a whole show of Chrissy and Nicole wandering the world's street food markets.
Like a getaway with Chrissy and Nicole.
Fucking
Oh my
die.
God.
And Nicole's a woman after my own heart when she asks for the Kewpie mayo on her ebi fry.
Yes.
I was
And
like,
then Chrissy goes, there is no mayo, which is not very Chrissy, because I'd imagine Chrissy is quite used to mayo being on tap.
Chrissy's good at getting the mayo out of the mayo jar. If you know
She
what I'm
doesn't
talking
care
about.
where it comes from.
Then Sally FaceTimes her kids and shows them the toilet.
Yeah, see, I think I just zoned out. Like, you know, in the House Bunny when she's like, they weren't glazing, they was just taking a rest.
Most scenes when Sally appears, I generally disassociate. But this time it was actually quite funny. She is showing her kids the toilet, and she's like, "Look, kids, but this toilet, there's a little tap, and the water goes inside your bottom."
We've all been there.
I'm like, girl, teaching your children how
Except-
to douche.
You know, mine's manual.
Yeah.
It's not automatic.
Mine's a Mount Franklin bottle.
Love an automatic version.
And then she's like to camera, oh, kids and toilets, am I right? Then we go back to the Nick and Chris's street food adventures. And there's...
God, can I just stop you? I cannot
Please.
believe that this took up like 20 minutes
I know.
of the episode. This is the penultimate episode.
Again, Terry spilled this week that fight at the dinner was like 20 times worse. And they've cut it down.
Oh my
Release
God.
the tapes.
What the fuck are they doing?
I don't know.
Anyway.
They're trying to make it like... They're trying to make it not like gratuitously
I think they're
crazy.
burnt by the fact
Season.
that Sydney was
Yeah.
so bad, but it's
Exactly.
not the same.
I know.
Anyway.
Back at the street food adventures, we see a prawn get smashed into an A3 piece of paper.
Yes, we do.
this-
And apparently the juices,
The juices
were
from the
just
guts.
spread everywhere.
Caroline orders a cucumber on a stick, which I've got to say, it looks stupid, but this is actually really delicious.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It's just like an ice cold cucumber,
Mm-hmm.
seasoned really well
Mm-hmm.
on a stick, and it's actually like, yum.
The only time I've had any experience with cucumbers is when I was in the supermarket once and I was incredibly desperate. And I was like literally sitting there for way too long comparing the sizes. And then I realized people were waiting to get to the section where I was, so I just grabbed the one that looked the best. That's all I think about.
It's all about the girth.
Yeah. It's
These
true.
cucumbers were not at all girthy. They were long and thin.
I can relate.
This is the second piece of evidence that Caroline has never been to Japan before, because she's like, oh, I used to live just right over there. It's on that street. Oh, Roppongi Tower. Well, you know Roppongi Tower. It's like their Eiffel Tower, but, you know, more Japanese. And then someone, I'm assuming someone on the street overhears this and they're like, excuse me, madam, please stop speaking misinformation. And they're like, that's actually just a mobile phone tower. And she's like, oh, a G5.
As opposed to a G6.
I like a G5. And then she gets all Byron Bay and she just pulls out a crystal and just starts doing protection spells.
What the fuck?
She's like, 5G. Absolutely not.
G5.
Back to Nicole spiraling the fuck out.
Loved it. Especially this camera shot where it was like out, like they've zoomed in on her and out of focus for about 5 seconds.
She's like, what do they think? Does Terry think her time's more important than ours? Who does she think she is?
And this is why I think that there's like something has got her to that point that we haven't seen.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like Nicole. I understand she's pissed about the time, but she'd be like, fuck it, let's go and not mention it. But it's almost like she wants something on Terry because of something. And so she's using this.
She also hasn't eaten yet,
drive.
which I can relate to. Like she's hangry. She hasn't had a coffee yet. Like if production told me you have to be out the front of the hotel at 9:30, and so as such I'm hungover as fuck and I haven't had a coffee or any food, I'd probably spiral as well.
But they're like, it's Nicole. She'd wake up at 6 and order room service.
True.
And have a spa and everything. You know what I mean?
Because they got to they got to do the glam and all that. You know what I mean?
She can't shove some bacon in her mouth while they're putting her foundation on. Like,
back to Caroline and Terry, and they pop into a little seafood boutique.
And how much did you feel this was leading up to the producers bringing them together? You know what I mean? Like, oh, there you are. Like, but it didn't happen.
I thought I was waiting for them to bump into each other on the street.
Because then we could have had the...
They wanted aircon, I reckon, so they went inside.
Yeah.
Caroline says the energy's changed in Tokyo since she lived there in the 90s. They talk about the trips. Terry's like, well, I hope it's been a successful trip because, I've planned this whole thing. So I hope it's been really successful. I hope everyone's having a good time. It's like, Terry, come on.
And how much of this... Okay, so when housewives go on holidays and one of them takes everyone, how much of it is planned by them? None.
I think very little. I think they like workshops and shit. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because it's like they all claim like I'm the hostess, you have to be nice to me and I've organised this trip.
I
But
don't
I'm like,
think they do
you didn't
anything.
pay for it, you didn't organise a hotel, you haven't set up the activities. What have you done?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think they each need to host an event. And so we've had, Nicole's done an event, Chrissy's done an event, Victoria's done an event, Sally's done
Kate's
an event.
had a birthday.
Exactly. So I think they literally were like, you're the only person that hasn't hosted anything. Because she spent half the season in Portugal, might I add. So then they were like, okay, this one's on you. Caroline says to Terry that she should stop getting involved in other people's battles. And Terry's like, whose battle?
Whose battles?
And she's like, Kate's. And then Terry goes, well, look, I don't want to be involved in anyone else's drama. I'd prefer to be Switzerland. Take me back to being Switzerland.
And this is what I mean about Terry.
Yeah.
She is involved with what's happening, but when she doesn't want to be held accountable for her involvement, it's, I'm not involved, I'm not involved, I'm not involved. And that's where we need her to get over that. It's not your everyday life anymore. Yeah. It's time to be a housewife. And that means blood. And if we don't get blood, you're not fucking me right.
I'm seeing like promos for next season. It's like, there will be blood. And it's like a shot of like some blood falling into the water.
Remember
like,
Janet?
That would be a good... don't. In Mexico. In Mexico.
Diego.
And then the next day she's like, I'm not drinking today. Yeah, just another vodka lime. Did you see Janet's outfit at the Chemist Warehouse Christmas party this year?
Yes, I did.
The face paint?
Yep. I love that selfie. She's shameless on Instagram. We love you, Janet.
Oh, good. All right. Nicole still won't let it go. And this bit I love because last week me and my guests were complaining about like the lack of authenticity of like what Aussies do in Japan on this trip. But finally we get a scene of Nicole and Chrissy sitting on a park bench drinking chew-highs out of a can. So they're sitting on the park bench. Nicole is still at like 120. Now she's moved on to... Terry wears her tardiness like a badge of honour. She's late. She's got a reputation for being late. I've been to dinners where she's been 2 hours late.
I don't think I've stayed in a dinner for 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if someone was 2 hours late, I'd fucking leave.
Literally.
I've got to say, I famously hate late people. So I'm like, I'm watching this and it's hard for me to watch because I'm like, this is me.
Mm-hmm. I completely
getting
agree
upset
with Nicole.
about this.
I completely agree with Nicole, but I'm just
It was hard
wondering
to
whether
watch.
she's like, fuck, it's the second last episode. I need to fucking bring something.
Maybe.
Or whether
Nah,
she's...
she was pissed.
Yeah, she's pissed about something. We need to know what it is.
And look, I hate it too. And my least favorite thing about late people is like, be late, like own it, whatever, be late. But like, just all I need is an apology. When you walk in, you go, oh my God, sorry, I'm late. But the people, the Terrys, they walk in and they won't do it.
No.
They're like, here I am.
And again, that's the thing about Terry.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's no ownership in the
Yeah.
behavior.
Then we get, hey, Chrissy, I can see your sashimi.
Oh, and why didn't...
Nicole just turns into Samantha Jones once again. Hey,
They should have pointed the camera straight down the barrel.
I know.
Loved it.
Which was a great segue to crab brains.
Yes. So Chrissy's hat falls off and we go to crab brains.
This was so good. Eating crab brains on a hangover in 50-degree heat. Not a good idea. I was like, thanks, Caroline. I'll remember that.
Oh my God. And also Carolyn's like,
Words to live by.
just didn't want to try it. You know what I mean? I'm like, you lived in Tokyo.
I
Give it a go.
know. And this is number 3 receipts that Caroline has never stepped foot in Tokyo before.
Yeah. I feel like she went there for like 5 months to like shoot a porno and then...
She lived there
that
for
was
5
it.
weeks. Yeah, she
Yeah.
could have shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we get the group dinner, finally. So, I wrote... I was a little bit stoned when I watched for the second time, and I've written Saki and Caroline rock up. Saki being Sally.
No, let's call her
just call her
Saki. Hacky sack.
Saki rocks up. Look, I said they both look hot. They're wearing like black tight numbers. There was clearly...
Carolyn's almost got a mud out.
Caroline looked fucking amazing.
She looks amazing.
She looked like a Eurovision backup dancer.
Amazing.
Like, so hot.
She works hard for that body.
I want to know what the theme was. Like, clearly they were given a dress prompt because they were rocked up in either black or like sparkly.
Mm-mm. I guess you'd just call it black sparkles.
Yeah. Chrissy's in a sparkly dress. And Nicole is starting already. And she's like, Caroline, what happened? What happened today with the fish market?
What happened today?
I mean, I was we waited and we waited and we waited and Caroline genuinely looks confused. And this is when I'm like, oh, hang on. Because I was like full Team Nicole up until this point because I'm like, fuck those late cunts. And then I was like, hang on. Caroline has no idea what you're talking about.
None.
Or the pill could have just kicked in. But I don't know.
Both.
Then it kind of just fizzles out and they're talking about what they did. They're all like, oh, what did you do today? And Chrissy's like, oh, we went to a tranquil garden.
It doesn't seem so.
And someone's like, we ate crab brains. And then Terry arrives. Dun, dun, dun,
Oh, that's
dun,
right.
dun,
She did
dun.
come in. Yes, of course.
She was...
I love it when they do
Hashtag late.
Can you imagine the anxiety these people go through during these filming processes?
totally.
Like having to be like, okay, you're in the shit. You're going to walk in last or like before everyone else.
Do you reckon they told her they gave her a different time because they wanted to see Nicole get fucking pissed off?
I feel like they have like times like in their call sheet or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. They're like, but
they don't
Terry's
know.
is 2 hours after everyone
Yeah,
else.
so they don't know that it's going to be later.
Yeah. And Nicole just goes in straight away.
Yep.
She's like, Terry, what happened? What happened this morning? Terry's like, what do you mean? What? There were 2 cars booked, darling.
She's pre-prepared. She's pre-prepared.
2 drinks, my dear, and that's a max.
There were 2 cars booked, darling. No. Then they bring it to like no one messaged each other, which I was like, yeah, true. Like if you were that pissed, Nicole, why don't you just text her and be like, where the fuck are you, bitch?
She called the room, don't you know?
Yeah.
She called the room.
We all waited for you and we waited for you and we waited for you. And then it cuts to Terry in confessional. She's like, she is like a dog with a bone.
My absolute favourite Victoria Rees moment from season 1 with her friend when they're on the headland and she's like a dog with a bone. A dog with a bone? A dog with a bone. A Amazing.
Look, Athena, I was doing you a favour discarding of that hideous cardigan. You can thank me later.
And you can fuck off because I'm not going to listen to this fucking idiot
This
anymore.
little poof over here with behind the camera.
Everybody hates you.
Victoria Rose. We waited. When Terry goes, is this for real? And, no. Is this for real? Like the second time she says it, she's like, her eyes are like popping out of her head. And she's like looking at the production. She's like, is this for real? She's like, what the fuck? And then Nicole tells us that this is the utmost disrespect for our time.
And then Terry does something really crafty and tells her that the way that she's behaving is the utmost disrespect.
This was clever. When she goes, oh, and you're never late, Nicole?
No, I'm not. No.
No, actually, I'm not.
And I actually believe that.
I believe that.
Yeah,
too.
I believe that. Nicole's at the airport like 5
Nicole,
hours
are you a
before the plane
Virgo?
goes.
Like, honey, I see you. I've got spreadsheets. We'll talk later.
If you're listening, Nicole, we love you.
We love you. Never stop being you. Never stop being punctual.
I've never flown in business class before. I'd really love to. Just so you know.
We could go for a little walk together to the back of the plane. You could show me what it looks like.
Show me the back of the Airbus.
A380. Then Terry goes, if late's all she's got, I'll take it as a compliment. But honey, I could do a lot worse.
And here's the thing. What? I want to know.
Tell us
what is it about
What have
Nicole?
you got? What
exactly.
have you got? It's like a Meredith Marks situation.
Oh.
She's like, you want to know the rumors in the nest?
Do you want me to go there with the husband?
About her husband?
I'll go there.
Don't go there with the husband.
Bro.
I want to know what she's got.
Brooksy, mommy needs a zanny.
Caroline now is chiming in because she's very upset. She doesn't like being told what to do. She definitely doesn't like being reprimanded in front of everyone while she's on holiday.
She doesn't like to feel like she's a school kid.
Because that's reserved for the shoot later that she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they refer to Nicole as the principal. They're like, I didn't realise the principal was going to be here and the schoolmaster was going to be in our girls' trip.
Which is, again, I keep correlating between Melbourne, but it's like Gina for Sally. She thinks she's the principal of the school.
Yeah. Well,
Hashtag new sheriff in town.
Embarrassed us,
If you want to come in here with your
But
flat shoes and your camel
Gina
teeth.
is like, excuse me. Gina exudes authority.
Yes, that's true.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like do not compare any of these women.
Gina is a chains and whips type of gal.
Exactly.
She's got the leather cat suit. Absolutely.
Kate says she knows Caroline really well and she knows that Caroline's always going to be late to stuff, but she just works around it. She just rocks up late or whatever. And I was like, thanks, Kate.
Well, didn't she say she waited for her outside for a few hours
yeah.
at a time?
But
And then she's like, okay, well, that's what's happening.
I think Kate's trying to be like, look, I'm cool. I don't get upset about.
Yeah, which is a complete
These
180
kinds
from
of
her
things.
like previous moments.
She's just happy not to be in the hot seat, I think.
Yeah, well, true that.
She's had her moment doing this on.
Mm-hmm.
Then Sally tells confessional that it's a mess. Oh my God, it's a mess.
You're a
I'm
mess,
mortified.
Sally.
And she goes, I don't know if I would go on another trip with these girls again. And I'm like,
Please don't. Please give up your spot on the show for someone more interesting.
well, I don't know if she's going to be invited back. So I was like, girl, you should be so lucky.
Mm.
Then Terry's...
Coming to you live from Tokyo.
So Terry's turned it around on Nicole and she's like, I actually think you're being very ungrateful, very ungracious. I've not seen you have a good time. I've not seen you thank our gracious host. Are you having a good time, Nicole? Are you having a good time? Nicole goes, I am having a good time.
Nicole got to eat a squished up prawn on a piece of paper. Of course she's having a good
She's having
time.
a fucking great time. She goes, well, I think you're being very rude, very unappreciative, so unappreciative. These guests.
She's evil, Terry.
So
Can you imagine-
unappreciative.
Does Terry have children?
Yeah, they had them. They went to Luna Park.
Oh, God, they're going to be
I think
damaged.
F1.
They're going to be damaged.
Yeah. And then Terry goes, Nicole, I expected more from you.
See, these are all things that people have said to Terry through her life when she's behaved poorly.
Yeah.
And now when she behaves poorly, she just uses buzz phrases that people have used to her. It's just like deflect. Because she knows she's steering away from the topic and inflaming someone's ego and being like, I expected more. So, of course, the topic's now going to be about how am I like that? Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? She knows what she's doing.
Nicole's more careful with her words and she says, you know what, Terry? I had hoped for more from you. And Terry
agree.
goes, darling, well, don't. And she grabs the way she's holding that fucking champagne flute.
Yes.
Iconography. So fucking good.
She's been in this position before.
Yada, yada, yada. Then Terry's off to the loos. Probably to do another line.
Didn't take a shit at the same time.
And that's why Caroline follows. Off to the loos. Oh no, before that, sorry, Terry goes, guys, is it Pick on Terry week?
And she wants to say it's schoolyard and she uses a phrase like that.
Pick on Terry week.
Oh my God, I love it. Is this Pick on Terry
Pick
week?
on Terry week. Then they're off to the loos. Caroline follows. And Terry's, is she crying, do you think? Or is it just like she's holding the mic next to her and she's like, oh.
Terry's definitely not crying. She's literally like acting. So she'd have a big grin on her face and saying what she needs to say. And Caroline's
she's doing hand signals to Caroline.
Caroline's racking one off her tits. And they're just like, hee.
Caroline goes, my mum is fucking dying and they're doing this?
Yes.
Who invited the schoolmaster on my holiday?
Mine. Again, I feel like we can't really comment on someone's reaction in a situation, but at the same time, you're on a public arena and we're going to comment on the reaction.
Exactly.
So if you don't want to be there because you're upset and it's too much, remove yourself, Caroline. Although we do not want you to.
Yeah. I suspect they were in there for quite some time, but it's cut quite short and they hop back to the table and Nicole has gifts for everyone.
She does. What a sweetheart.
To which Caroline says, well, Nicole, I'm not opening this until I get an apology for all this drama that you've caused at my dinner, which I don't appreciate.
If someone gave me a gift, even if they just beat the shit out of me, I'm opening it.
Totally.
Yeah.
She's being real petty. And Nicole goes, well, I don't appreciate waiting for 45 minutes.
If Nicole O'Neill buys you a gift, either you keep it or you hock it to a pawn shop.
It looked like a macaroon. I think it was...
Was it like a box?
It was like a box. I think it was like a box.
It's probably just like
Black sesame
BFF's Forever
macaron.
bracelet or some shit.
That would be cute. That would be real cute.
Tokyo Drift.
Kate steps in and tries to sort it out. She's like, all right, girls, no more being late. Agreed? Yep. No more being late. You're going to send a text next time. Mm-hmm. Be the fucking person I want you to be.
That's right.
Caroline doesn't even agree to that. She's like, we'll see. We'll see how I feel tomorrow, won't we?
So at least Kate gets a little something in. Sally so far has sat there, clutching her forehead. And there's a lot of it.
Terry goes, well, who even wants to hang out with people like you that are going to be so judgmental? Maybe this is the last time I invite you on a girls' trip.
And how much of a veiled, like I'm in this season, maybe next season you won't be here. Like, that's what that was saying.
Good. I was like, this is what I've been waiting for this whole time. Like, we're getting it.
Mm-hmm. But still not enough. It's too late. It should have been season 6. I mean, sorry, episode 6.
Yeah, true. True. Caroline says, you guys are just projecting what you think a girl's trip is supposed to look like. So you can blame everyone else but yourselves. Then we get Chrissy and Terry's friendship off. Terry jumps in and goes, well, are we even friends though? Because I don't think friends would act the way that you've both acted today. And Chrissy's face is just like, she's like smiling and nodding like crazy. And Chrissy's like, whoa. You're talking about a 20-year friendship here.
20 years.
Terry goes, 20 years? Darling. I
haven't even known you for 5.
5. More like 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Chrissy goes, oh, you want the photos? And like, she's like, gets out her phone. Like anyone's got 20-year-old photos like in their camera roll.
Yeah, literally she's opened up the photo albums and taken pictures of the photos. They're all
there
light
was no
reflective.
social media 20 years ago. She gets out like these black and white photos of them like.
No, it's just them at a bukkake party. They happen to cross paths. It's like,
Oh my
that's
God.
it.
Amazing. She's like, you want the photos? Yeah, I want the photos. And then she's like, I've known you for over 5 years.
So this is getting confusing. How do we go from an estimate of 20 down to 5 and then kind of land on 15? Did they say like or the middle? Like
this
it's
is
like,
the shit. This is like where they're going below the belt now because it's like claiming that you don't know someone very well in front of everyone on camera. Like you're disassociating from them. You're like, we're not a thing.
Lydia, you were at my wedding. How am I supposed to know? We go to so many bloody weddings.
Exactly. Chrissy's like, oh, well, then maybe we aren't great friends then. Maybe I'm not Miss Tickety Boo, Miss Tickety Bops.
Yeah, that's showing our age. What the fuck is a tickety boo?
Are we best friends though? Are we? And then Terry's just on loop going, are we? She's like Sutton with Name 'em. She's like, are we best friends? Are we best friends? Are we best friends? It's like, shut up. And then Sally comes out of nowhere finally and goes, I need a fucking flow chart. And I was like, yes, Sally. Get in there.
Thank you, Sally. Your contribution still won't win you a place in season 2.
It's a bit late, yeah. And she's like, everyone is talking. No one's listening. That's the problem. Stop talking. Everyone needs to listen. And Sally kind of tries to mediate for a second, but they all just
Oh, yeah, she gets really
devour
aggressive
her.
as well, but they just won't have it. And that's what happens when you don't pre-establish your dominance.
Exactly. Just too nice from the start.
That's right.
Now she's known as...
She shouldn't have
It's
stayed
nice,
in a room showing her children toilets.
Yeah. And then Caroline's jealous that nobody's talking about her. So she's like, this CD's got so many scratches on it. And I was like, showing your age, doll. And she storms off and says, you can all go fuck yourself, which is something that I've missed because with Gina, it was like every episode she said that. Mm-hmm. You can all go fuck yourself. Mm-hmm. So I was like, finally, we get it once in this show.
We did get it once. And a little bird to the camera, which is nice.
Bird to camera, storm off. Chef's kiss, Caroline. Chef's bloody kiss.
Thank you,
That's
Caroline.
what we want. Next morning.
So that's the end of that season,
That's the end.
isn't it?
It's done.
Yeah, bullshit.
And release the tapes.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
I want to see the bit where Chrissy like throws a
Throws
bottle of
sashimi
champagne.
at people.
throws a sashimi across the road. The next morning, Chrissy and Sally are in the hotel room. Chrissy's hungover as fuck, and she's like, "Oh, I've already had 50 coffees." And Sally's like, "How are we going to resolve this?" And Chrissy's like, "I don't know, but we've all got to get on a plane together. I don't know if that's going to happen. Is that bad? It's that bad."
Yeah. It's going to be an awkward Jetstar flight.
It really is. Via Cairns.
Can't.
They've got to stop in Cairns for like 4 hours. Terry and Kate visit Asakusa. Terry's outfit is sickening in this scene, by the way. She's wearing like a
the lettuce?
two-piece. No, that's
Later.
Yeah. This is like a embroidered.
Yeah, Terry doesn't get it.
Hot little two-piece thing.
I'm sorry, but Terry looks like an evil bitch.
Yeah.
Dress like it. Don't dress like a
girl.
25-year-old festival goer or like.
But
just
you want
like,
to dress up as like Maleficent.
Literally.
Yeah, okay.
Like, just put the horns on at this point. Like, I don't like the jet black straight hair and that pulled-ass face.
She looks a lot like Kyla, actually.
Yeah, she
They have the
does.
same long back, like the Demi Moore vibe. Yeah. They get pulled around on a rickshaw.
by someone that we all would fuck.
He was cute.
Yeah.
And they just love being treated like royalty. This is Kate and Terry like, oh, they almost get hit by an ambulance.
Well, the producers have gone and paid those ambulance drivers to turn the lights on and drive at 3 miles an hour.
They're like, we need drama.
We need something to happen.
Caroline, Chrissy, and Sally are walking around Harajuku, and Chrissy's like, oh, look, ladies, take a shit straight. She's like, it's the funniest thing she's ever seen in her life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm with her on that.
Is taking shit straight.
Come
And then Nicole calls, and she's like, Hey, Nicole. And then she gets on a Greek accent from season 1. She's like, hey, mate, what did take a shit straight? She does. She's like, Nicole, what did hanging out to take a shit straight?
She does.
And Nicole's really upset, you guys.
Apparently, but we don't hear her on the other.
No, we don't
line.
hear her on. They haven't. She's taken her mic off, babe.
Yeah.
She wants to leave and go home.
No, she's in a phone booth around the corner.
She's taking a shit on. Take a shit straight. Caroline says, well, obviously she's upset because things didn't go her way last night. T.
That's very upsetting. When things don't go my way at night time, I'll give it another crack in the morning, and if it still hasn't gone right,
Yeah.
they'll know about it.
It's a bummer because, yeah, if she just rocked up, you know, I find when shit goes down, the sooner you see everyone and just try and laugh it off or whatever. Kate and Terry end up at a temple to do omikuji, which is fortune telling. This was fucking hilarious. Kate pulls out a piece of paper and it basically just says, you should unalive immediately.
Yes.
It says, you will not be well. Your friends will leave you. Dinosaurs will roam the earth once more. You'll never find the one. You'll never find happiness, and you're hideous.
Do you think that's because it can tell that she's about to come out and like everybody's going to turn on her?
Season 3 is going to be Kate's coming out story.
Yep.
I just want her storyline next season to be her settling down in a little cabin with someone called, I don't know,
Tina.
Tina, who's got a really serious, like, dark haircut.
Yep.
She finds Tina and, yeah, they just go off grid.
Yep.
And it's just every time it cuts to her. She's still a cast member, but she doesn't participate in any of the team things.
No, she's too busy knee
Getting
deep in
eaten
mud.
out. Yeah. We cut back to the other group shopping. Caroline tries on a stupid hat and they go get a beer. Then we get rooftop drinks at 2 rooms. They rock up. Chrissy's like, oh, we're at this beautiful rooftop. I could see a church in the distance. I thought, oh, pray to God. Pray to God there's not a fight tonight.
We'll see.
There's some good looks at this. Kate's got the big puffy sleeves.
Yes. Very.
Is this Terry in the lettuce dress? No.
This is
yeah.
Terry dressed like a cabbage.
Yeah.
Yep.
A Cabbage Patch doll.
Yep. Gorgeous. Again, just complete miss. I feel like Terry doesn't have a stylist. She's too proud.
Yeah.
And you can tell.
Terry greets Chrissy and they greet each other in a very normal way. It's like, hi, mwah, mwah. And Chrissy's face is fucking priceless. She's like, but inside she's just like, I want to punch this bitch in the face.
Well, they probably haven't had their injections for a couple of days.
Exactly.
So it's starting to show the emotion.
Nicole is noticeably absent.
She is, unfortunately.
Terry reckons she's embarrassed because she behaved so poorly on the previous night.
Oh, here we go. This is what I mean. Personality disorder. She's gone off, angry, turned it against everyone else. Now she feels bad and she's going to try and make amends without owning anything she did. I can say that because I have a diagnosed personality disorder. So I know the behavior and I work very hard to keep it under control.
Sally's being super cute and positive, of course. And she's like, guys, these are the... girls. These are the moments that we look back on and we just laugh about it, you know? It's what brings us together.
Yeah, trash talking each other
like-
and saying we're not friends. That's something we're
like-
going to look back on.
It's like, Chris, you remember the time when you told Terry that you knew her for 20 years and she said, fuck off, bitch, I don't know who you are? That wasn't that fun.
Remember that time,
Yeah.
Terry? Remember that time that that you threw a cat over Lisa Oldfield's fence? Remember that?
A cat that you murdered viciously hours before.
That you got from Kate? Pulled it out of the incineration bin at Bondi Vet.
Chrissy says they haven't quite resolved things, but it seems like they patch it up for now.
Oh, for God's sake.
They let it go. And then this is when the champagne spills and they go, oh, not on the Chanel.
No.
And then not on the Chanel's pretty much it. Okay. And then we get the next time on the Real Housewives of Sydney. And I'm referring to this as the grand final. And today was the semi-final because we've got Victoria v. Kate Terry v Nicole and Terry v Chrissy. They're the 3 matchups we're going to get next week.
It looks
in
like
the grand final.
Yeah, but it looks like it's going to be more Terry Nicole than anything.
Who are you rooting for in the granny?
I'm here for Nicole all the way.
Yeah,
I fucking love her. I can't. She makes no apologies. She's a bitch when she needs to be a bitch, but she's kind. She's
fucking grown on
elegant.
me. This episode, I was like, thank you for representing us OCD Virgos that need everyone to be on time.
Yeah, I think Nicole's wonderful. I was really happy that she came back. So that's who I'm going for.
What about between Victoria and Kate?
Victoria, because she's a fucking idiot. I want to see her win.
I gotta say,
I want to see her delusion being fed. I don't want her brought back down to earth.
I'm really upset she wasn't in Japan.
Me
I think
too.
It would have been fucking great.
She would have bitched and moaned the entire time, and it would have been great.
She would have been caught killing wild animals and turning them into products to sell.
Guys, I'm just going to pop off to the zoo.
She comes back with like a snow leopard wrapped around
You
her
red
thing.
panda,
Aspen, what a pleasure having you this week.
I can imagine it was.
I can't wait to edit the fuck out of this episode. It'll be a 4-minute long episode. By the time we're done, no, it won't. Have you got anything to plug? Where can people find you?
Nowhere really.
Okay, you don't want people to find you, do you?
No, it's fine. Yeah. People the rarest gems are the most hidden.
There you go. Look away. Look over.
Although I did have a Tumblr of nudes when I was like 18. I don't think it's still there,
still out?
but it might be.
All right. I'll put a link in the show notes to that.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks, Sam.
Bye-bye. Well, oh my God, that was insane. So much fun. I cannot believe next week is the final episode of the season. I've got a super special guest lined up for you. Can't wait till then. Bye-bye.